Hello everyone, I'm Ankit and you're watching StudyIQ IS English. In our today's video, we'll try to understand why people of Arunachal Pradesh so worried about matters relating to illegal immigration. Now, the reason why we are covering this topic, it will become much clearer to you once you get the context based on which we are discussing this. Now, you need to understand the talk of illegal immigration, it is resonating with the people of Arunachal Pradesh, and therefore the demands have further risen in order to tighten the existing inner line permit regime which is implemented in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. So, as a result, after having discussions with various local organizations, the CM of the state of Arunachal Pradesh, Mr. Pema Khandu, has announced that the government of Arunachal Pradesh, it is going to set up a high-powered committee whose role and responsibility would include examining and recommending measures to further strengthening the inner line permit framework in the state, and more importantly, it is also going to review the guidelines that was published by the very state in this particular year. In addition to that, 3 other high-powered committees have been set up which will take a look at many interrelated matters. This includes re-verification of the certificates that are distributed to Arunachal Pradesh scheduled tribes, determining the status of children who are born out of relationship between an Arunachal Pradesh scheduled tribe mother and a non-scheduled tribe father. And the third, that they would assess the status of illegal immigration and infiltration in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. So to understand this topic, we are going to first understand what is this inner line permit regime. More importantly, we are going to ascertain how it is different than a very similar sounding protected area regime, and then we'll try to understand what are the reasons behind so as to why people of Arunachal Pradesh are demanding that you need to stricten and even implement the matter of inner line permit regime in a much more better manner. So this is what we are going to understand today. Now the notes which I will be using for our today's session, you can also download them by going to a particular Telegram channel called as ATS Live. And while you're at it, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel as well. Okay, so let us start by understanding what is this inner line permit regime after all. Now this inner line permit regime, first of all, it is applicable in some of the northeastern states of India, which includes Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Mizoram, and more recently it has been implemented in Manipur. In Manipur, this was introduced in 2020, and another state of Northeast, Meghalaya, it is demanding for an inner line permit regime, but you need to understand, in Meghalaya, presently the inner line permit regime is not there. What you need to understand, the ILP regime or the ILP system was first introduced in India in order to preserve the culture and traditions of tribals living in these northeastern states. In addition to that, it will also safeguard the title that the tribal land and the tribal people are entitled to, and it will protect the resources, especially in those regions where the resources are already very scarce. So this is the intention of the inner line permit regime. Now, what does this inner line permit regime actually does? Let us try to understand this. Suppose if you're an Indian who is a resident of the states which do not belong to these inner line permit regime states. So in order to visit these states, the inner line permit regime states, you need a ILP document from the respective state governments in order to enter and stay in this kind of a state for any period of time, be it for tourism or be it for work related visits. Similarly, if you are an Indian citizen not belonging to ILP states, then you cannot stay in these states beyond the time of which the ILP has been provided to you. So you can't overstay your welcome in these states without the permission of the state government through the ILP document. So this is what ILP regime actually does. Who it is applicable to? It is applicable to citizens of India not belonging to the ILP states. Okay, now let us talk about whether foreigners can visit the state. This is regulated by the protected area regime. So if you're a foreigner and if you want to visit states like Arunachal Pradesh, like Nagaland, Manipur and Mizoram, you need permission of Home Ministry of the Union Government. Home Ministry of the Union Government, to foreigners, they would issue a protected area pass, and in order to for foreigners to enter into these protected areas, you need permission of the Home Ministry. Now, it is currently in application in the entire state of Arunachal Pradesh, in parts of Nagaland, Manipur and Mizoram. In Manipur, it was reintroduced back in 2024 in order to prevent the security situation of the state from being worsening due to entry of foreigners from the neighboring countries. So presently, this protected area regime is in place in the entirety of the northeastern states and in parts of Nagaland, Manipur and Mizoram. So that is why ILP and protected area regimes are different. ILP is meant for Indian citizens and protected area regime is meant for foreigners who want to enter these protected areas. Understood? Now let us try to understand why are there anxieties relating to demography in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. Now there has been a recent wave of protest in the state of Arunachal Pradesh which have demanded for review of ILP system, and this basically stems from the organization called as Arunachal Pradesh Scheduled Tribe Bachao Andolan Committee. Now the focus of this committee initially was to take care of the issue or allegations that was pertaining to the fact that several non-Arunachal Pradesh scheduled tribe people or these individuals, they were able to fraudulently obtain the APST certificates. But the focus of this committee shifted last year in 2024 in order to ascertain what is the status of implementation of ILP, because ILP regulates entry of outsiders into the state of Arunachal Pradesh, and some outsiders who do not belong to the scheduled tribe committee or to Arunachal Pradesh, they were able to fraudulently obtain these certificates. Now why are these certificates so important for the local people? These APST certificates, which are issued by the state government in the state of Arunachal Pradesh, it helps people belonging to scheduled tribes to avail certain benefits from the government. That includes benefits in the government job or reservation in the government job, educational institutions, ownership of the land, and special state government schemes. So certain state government schemes which are meant for local scheduled tribes, they will be able to get it once they have this certificate. So once an outsider is able to obtain these certificates, naturally it would erode the resources which are actually meant for native STs. So this is the bigger issue that we are dealing with. Now why this issue became so important? You need to understand the committee said that in order to identify people who have wrongfully acquired the ST certificates, they felt that the ILP system needs to have those documented people, but since implementation of the ILP system, it is not a foolproof system, and that is why certain people have been able to attempt and obtain these certificates even fraudulently. So this committee has identified that the recently announced new set of guidelines for implementing the ILP in order as against strengthening the ILP regime has actually weakened this regime. How it has weakened this regime? Because it has relaxed the implementation of ILP permits and it does not allow the government to track and trace those people who have overstayed their welcome in the state after issuing of the ILP. So let us understand why this is a big issue. Now the guidelines which was issued by the state government of Arunachal Pradesh this very year actually relaxed how you can give permits for ILP regime. For example, the secretary political to the government of Arunachal Pradesh now has the power to issue any temporary or work related ILP to any person which is valid for any indefinite period. Similarly, there are many large scale mega projects that are been ongoing on in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. What do I mean by large scale mega projects? Which includes any project which has the budget of more than 500 crore, and for workers who are going to work in this kind of a project, the heads and officials relating to these projects now have the power to sponsor the work ILPs up to 200 laborers at any given point of time. And they also have the power to extend the validity of these ILP passes for as much as 2 years for any person from the date of their entry into the state. Now, why it is a big issue? Let me try to tell you that. Now, why it has become a big issue? Because first of all, in order to implement these large scale mega projects in the state of Arunachal Pradesh, you do not have local labor which would do the work. So in order to compensate for this deficit of labor, you have to bring laborers from other parts of the country, and that is why you need to issue them the ILP. So this particular is not a problem as far as the state of Arunachal Pradesh is concerned. When it becomes a problem that once you issue an ILP to these laborers, they overstay their welcome. And the state government of Arunachal Pradesh does not have any mechanism which would enable it to monitor and track the people who have been issued ILP in the state. So the state government of Arunachal Pradesh would be in no position to understand whether the workers have exited during the period or have they overstayed their welcome. And the fears of the people of Arunachal Pradesh is that if large scale workers, if they enter into the state and do not exit into the state in the given stipulated time, it would in a long period of time change the entire demography of the state by making or bringing more outsiders into already resource scarce region of Arunachal Pradesh. So that is why it has become a big problem. So what is the scale of this problem? Let me tell you the fact. Now, over the course of the entire last year, in the year of 2025, the administration of the Arunachal Pradesh have identified around 7,000 people in the Itanagar capital region itself who did not have valid inner line permit during the detection drive. So, who were these people? They were mostly laborers who originated from the neighboring state of Assam, or they were truck drivers who originated from states like Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. They had come to supply the goods, but they did not exit in the given stipulated time because they were not aware of the rules. So this highlights that this issue is actually a big issue. These were only the people who lived in the capital region. What about people residing in the other parts of Arunachal Pradesh? So therefore, there has emerged a need to develop a digital tool, a digital intervention method, which would allow the state to trace and track those people who have stayed in the state beyond the valid permittable period given in their ILP passes. So this is why this issue has been blown out of proportion in order to satiate the fears that it might lead to large-scale demographic change in the entire state of Arunachal Pradesh. So this was the issue that we had understood today. Now, before solving a question that can appear in the UPSC exam, there is a very important announcement. Now, the matter which we dealt with easily belongs to the subject of polity and also can be understood from the light of social issues. Now, interlinkages between various subjects of UPSC becomes very important if you have to appear in mains examination. Now, to understand each and every subject from the perspective of prelims, mains, as well as interview, you can take admissions in StudyIQ P2I foundation courses. These courses are offered in English, in Hindi and in bilingual format. So decide the language of your medium of instruction accordingly, and these batches are available for 2027 as well as 2028 in exclusive English languages. All our batches, they follow the model of SMART. What is SMART? Structured classes, mentorship, assessment, revision as well as test. To take admissions to these batches, what you can do, go to our website. Before making the payment, if you apply this code ATS Live, you're going to get maximum discounts on all the courses. So this is all from my side for today. Please do not forget to use the discount code. And this is the question that I want you to solve. Which one of the following states in India require an inner line permit for entry of outsiders? Okay, so outsiders here I mean Indian citizens but not belonging to the ILP states. Do let me know the correct answer from these 5 states. Which one of these 5 states have ILP system currently in place? Can be easily solved based on our today's discussion, and the notes which I have used in our today's session, you can also download them. For that, you need to go to a Telegram channel called as ATS Live. If you have trouble locating this channel, you can scan this QR code. Okay, so this is all from my side for today. We'll have another similar discussion tomorrow, so please stay tuned for that, and until then, please have a very good night.